Why the one only true God doctrine and seal of the living God are linked to each other. Let the reckoning from Pi, under God's most holy name YHWH, Tetragrammaton, as the repairer of the breach, the restorer of the paths to dwell in. Ordinance of Isaiah 58:12 be our guide, on counsel by Ellen G. White, upon choosing the right doctrine to qualify ourselves most likely to receive the seal of the living God, Revelation 7:2-3, as summarized in this video. The Lord claims the service of all who believe the truth for this time. They are to be laborers together with Christ in proclaiming the message of mercy to the world, the light of the present truth. The kind of ministry brought to view in the 58th chapter of Isaiah is to be faithfully done. The Review and Herald, September 16, 1909, paragraph 1. Australasia, where the Philippines is located at its tip, is a divinely appointed center from which the light of the present truth is to radiate to many lands. We are to push the triumphs of the cross. Our burden for the regions beyond can never be laid down until the whole earth shall be lightened with the glory of the Lord, referring to Revelation 18:1 from the East, Atlantic Union Gleaner, June 17, 1903. How to qualify ourselves as repairer of the breach, the restorer of the paths to dwell in, by upholding the ordinance of Isaiah 58:12 as accurately pinned on chart that we just presented, in response to the right call by Mrs. Ellen G. White in proclaiming the light of the present truth, as the kind of ministry that we need today. The Review and Herald, September 16, 1909, paragraph 1. Christ vindicates the law. Through his life, death and resurrection, he cleared the divine law of all accusations that it was faulty, unjust or impossible to fulfill. Christ established its authority, by redeeming us from the curse of the law, and satisfied its penalty on behalf of humanity. He brought us back to God as the only intercessor in between God and man, as symbolically manifest in figure through this 480 marking that filled the gap in between the two stone tables separated from each other, reuniting them as one. Note: the sealing message of the last days, Revelation 7:2-3, also has its reckoning from the Pi. That is 180 years from 1848, the start of publishing ministry, when Mrs. White received her 1848 Dorchester vision on the seal of the living God. This 180 degrees reckoning from the Pi, that pinned on chart the 180 years period that cover the sealing message of the last days, follows exactly the reckoning, hour, day, month, year, that was in Revelation 9:15, see chart. Going back to the 25 of God's plan from the Pi. Which one of this two conflicting SDA doctrines bear witness of the 25 of God's plan? Was it our original 25 SDA fundamental principles last 1872 that uplifts the one only true God doctrine, or is it both the 27 SDA fundamental beliefs last 1980 that uplifts the Trinitarian doctrine, and 28 SDA fundamental beliefs that also uplifts the Trinitarian doctrine? So it is very clear why our original 25 SDA fundamental principles last 1872 that uplifts the one only true God doctrine bear witness in figure of the 25 of God's plan as the reckoning from the Pi, that we should restore through the reproclamation of the 1872 ministry. Since 1980, the SDA GC, presided by Neil Wilson at that time, have already compromised with Catholicism, warned by Mrs. White during her day as the Omega of apostasy, the Trinitarian Sunday worship indoctrinated by the threefold union in Revelation 16:13's beast, dragon and false prophet. And this is also the reason why our original 25 SDA fundamental principles last 1872 that uplifts the one only true God doctrine, has been replaced and debunked by the SDA GC last 1980. When it adapted both the 27 SDA fundamental beliefs, later revised as 28 SDA fundamental beliefs, that exalts the Trinitarian doctrine indoctrinated by the threefold union in Revelation 16:13. The spiritual battle in the final conflict is the enmity between two classes. Between the genuine spiritual revival from the East versus counterfeit revival. The genuine spiritual revival is no other than the reproclamation of the 1872 ministry, marked as 3:3:3. While the counterfeit spiritual revival is marked also as 3:3:3. The reproclamation of the 1872 ministry uplifts the original one only true God doctrine, while the counterfeit revival uplifts the Trinitarian doctrine, indoctrinated by the threefold union in Revelation 16:13's beast, dragon and false prophet, marked as 3:3:3. Amazing Facts, led by Pastor Doug Batchelor, admits the fact that the whole world will be illuminated with the glory of Revelation 18:1. But the question is, how can they lead the genuine spiritual revival, soliciting sponsorship to support their global outreach if they are still under oath to both 27 and 28 SDA fundamental beliefs that uplifts the Trinitarian doctrine, which has no reckoning from the pie? Not unless they return to our original 25 SDA fundamental principles, which uplifts the one only true God doctrine, as the true doctrine of the genuine Revelation 18:1, in the reproclamation of the 1872 ministry, this time from the East. Only then can they be classified as genuine spiritual revival, distinct from being counterfeit. But why is it that the light of the present truth will radiate, not within the area of the United States from where the SDA GC was based, but from a far distant land in the continent of Australasia as foresaw by Mrs. White, where the Philippines is located at its tip, from where the glory of Revelation 18:1 arise, as we have presented earlier in this video? We have the following. The second beast, referring to USA as Second Covenant Nation, arise by the time when America was still a lamb-like beast, Revelation 13:11, that began 1798 AD, see chart. The Philippines as Third Covenant Nation will arise by the time when USA give life unto the image of the beast, Revelation 13:15-17, starting year 2026. When USA will shift itself from lamb-like beast to give life unto the image of the beast, as prophecy declares in Revelation 13:15-17. The third angel's message will become tame and voiceless, and will be empowered by Revelation 18:1 from the East, as the harvest message. We are in danger of giving the third angel's message in so indefinite a manner that it does not impress the people. So many other interests are brought in that the very message which should be proclaimed with power, becomes tame and voiceless. I saw another mighty angel commissioned to descend to the earth, to unite his voice with the third angel, and give power and force to his message. People of God, we are living in a decisive hour. Before us, rise two spiritual revivals, one genuine, and one counterfeit. And each of us must choose. There is no middle ground. Silence is not neutrality, it is alignment. To stand aside is to stand with the counterfeit. This is the moment to rise. The call to action, in harmony with the counsel of Ellen G. White through the mandate of Isaiah 58:12, the Review and Herald, September 16, 1909, paragraph 1. To become repairers of the breach, restorer of the paths to dwell in, was already pinned on chart, as previewed in this short video. What you have seen is only a glimpse. There is more contained in this 472-page e-book that now calls for your support, your voice, your action. This is not about denomination. This is about truth. The time to act is now. Stand firm. Support the genuine spiritual revival from the East. May Yahuwah, and His only begotten Son Yahusha, strengthen all who answer this call.